Is the dating market completely dysfunctional? Is it completely dysfunctional, and what is the nature of the dysfunction? Is it a social dysfunction? Is it a demographic dysfunction? Is it a psychological dysfunction where people's minds literally stop working as they sort of expect too much? I think in my videos I've covered the social and the psychological aspect of things, which I've said are mostly induced by the change in technology that has occurred in the past 50, 60 years. A big part of that. And I think I also made a video about social engineering, where I asked the question if social engineering had a big role to play. Because as you have the technology, as the technology emerges and changes the material reality, material nature of our society, of our industries, it creates opportunities for social engineering, for ideology to set in. Because again, the ideology is a byproduct, or it's not a byproduct, it's something that is possible, that can happen, that can be implemented only when you have the tools to implement it. There are certain ideologies that you cannot implement without those tools, without the technology to implement them. You can try and brainwash people. That's always happened. And throughout history, people have always tried to brainwash other people. But as far as implementing the ideology within the industries, within the things that we do, the things that we can't go without, that requires actual tools and technologies and things like that. So I've talked about that. And the answer is more or less open-ended. But in terms of the dysfunction itself, what is it mostly, and how can we solve? Can we actually solve the dysfunction that exists? Is there a way to say you're going to regulate the market? You're going to go in and you're going to say, well, that is what this dysfunction is, and if we fix it, then we fix the problem. Is it like a cancer where you identify the source? Say, this is a cancer, this is what caused it. The thing with cancer is that a lot of times you cannot identify a single source. There are mutations that occurred that caused the cancer, and you don't know the source of that. And since you don't know the source of that, you try to mechanistically remove the cancer. You try to go in and say, okay, we're going to do chemo, but you can't go to the source because you don't know what the source is. There's not a single gene that's responsible. And so usually what happens is it's either you do a shitload of chemo, which may end up hurting, injuring, killing the patient, or you just can't treat the cancer and the patient ends up dying regardless. So if our dating dysfunction was similar to a cancer, the answer to that would be that, well, we can't really solve it. We could try to apply some measures that may end up making it worse, or there's no answer, there's no solution, and we end up dying anyway. Now, when I say we end up dying, does that mean that society as a whole end up dying? Does that mean that everything collapses, demographics collapse, everything? Or is it the current generation? The good thing with society, with people, is that there's always a new generation. There's always a new crop of people. So you might have one generation that is a victim of all those changes, and then you might have another generation that learns from that and that doesn't repeat the same mistakes. The problem, as far as we can see, is that the new generations are actually not learning from, well, I shouldn't say from the mistakes, because I don't want to make it seem as if I'm blaming individuals and I'm saying it's the individual's fault. The individual is responsible. I don't want to make it seem that way. So I don't want to say can they learn from our mistakes, but can they find a way to bypass the trap? Because you could say it is a trap. It's a trap that's set by the system. So, can they find a way to bypass the trap and protect themselves from the imminent collapse? Because you could say for the current generations, it's over. It's over, it's too late. You're not gonna wake up at 40 years old and solve that. Done. You're done. You can find ways to move on with your life, be comfortable, to cope. But no, you're not gonna, wake up at 45 and now you have a relationship and start a family, you're gonna have kids. I just don't see how that works. But for the ones that are like, let's say, in their 20s, even early 30s, maybe there might be a chance. There might be a late chance, a final shot at redemption. But then the question is again, what is the dysfunction? The solutions are not presenting themselves. That's the thing. It's not like all of a sudden we know how to solve these things. We figured it out. That's not the way it works. So you would agree that we don't know exactly what the answer is. And the younger generations don't know what it is either. So I guess what I'm asking is, we're stuck. The dysfunction is not one thing. It's not psychological, social, technological, political, demographic, spiritual. It's all of those things. And so since it's all of those things, you don't really know which lever to pull, which one to change first. Maybe you try changing one thing, but then that one thing you change doesn't actually make it better. Then you change something else. And all those changes take a while to produce any kind of result that would then allow you to make modifications and adaptations. Yeah, I don't want to say it's over, but the more I think about this, the more dire the situation seems. I guess I'll stop here. To be continued.